Hey everybody, this is Saferno11. Oh, that looks a lot better. So first of all, the disclaimer. This video is actually going to be kind of like what the other one said. It's just going to be covering why I can't make videos, why I haven't made videos in the past, and why in the future it's going to be hard to make videos for a certain length of time. I don't know how long that time is going to be, but real life is basically screwing me over again. So if you don't want to hear it, don't need to hear it, you're not interested, just ignore the video, don't watch it, close out of it. I'm not looking for sympathy. I feel like when you make a YouTube channel and people subscribe to you, like you're making a commitment for people, and the commitment is to produce content for them. Like that's why I made this YouTube channel. And so like when I don't do that, I feel bad for the subscribers basically. So I would just like wanted to explain like this is what's going on with me right now. This is why I'm having a hard time doing videos. So the first and biggest problem with now that the disclaimer's out of the way, I can actually get on with it. I've actually had to remake this video 4 times. Once was waffling, and then I had it actually crash 2 times. My computer did while I was trying to record this because it has been 3 years since my last wipe, basically. And for those of you that don't know computer jargon, basically every 3 to 6 months, you are supposed to hard reset your computer. Take everything off it, do a clean install. Um, I haven't done it for over 3 years. Long story short, and ignoring technical jargon, when you don't do that, your computer gets weird. In my case, my computer likes it's having RAM issues. Like it thinks memory is being used when it shouldn't. It's making some memory read only when it's not supposed to, and it's crashing my computer. Like I was in the middle of recording this video and it just crashed on me. Blue screen, that was it. You're done. So that was a little frustrating. So that being said, well, what are some other things that are going on? What's some other things? Well, it's that was largely it because I've had this problem for a long time now. It's just I need to get a better computer. I need to upgrade, and I don't have the money to. I don't even have the money to just do a factory reset. Um, but also too, like I've noticed my videos have a weird fuzzy quality. Not this video, because it's actually decent quality. It's not very good, but it's better than nothing. It's a lot better than my old ones were. But like, long story short, though, it's I'm trying to think of how to word it. Like in my Dark Souls 2 Let's Play that I uploaded because literally one friend asked me to play through the game so he could see it. I loaded the game and it was fuzzy. Like it would randomly go fuzzy. I noticed it in Skyrim too. Like the game just would randomly get fuzzy in the recording. On my screen, it looked perfectly fine. And so like I didn't want to upload something that was not to my standards, but I didn't know how to fix it. And so like I thought it was going to be, oh, it's a simple fix, just go online, look it up and you'll figure it out. Well, it wasn't that simple. I still don't know what causes that random fuzziness. I think I just need a better graphics card that can actually record screenplay and do it. So like I've been hesitant to record high quality games because I don't want it to look bad for you guys, but at the same time, like I really don't know what older games could be. I could do a let's play of that you guys would be interested in. So like it's kind of a mixed sort of thing. So that being said, what is another thing? Well, that explains my current predicament. Like that's why I've been hesitant to make videos because I don't want to upload something that looks bad for everybody, but at the same time, like my computer's also like explode in the process of like committing suicide by overeating is basically what it's trying to do. It's trying to eat more RAM than there is and it's killing itself, which means it resets itself. So it's not a good situation with the computer. But then there's also personal stuff. Like my girlfriend who lives overseas, and I guess we broke up. I don't know. She just hasn't talked to me, and I did block her, but I did give her information. Like she knows how to contact me, and she just flat out hasn't. So I assume we broke up, or I assume she broke it up. Um, very, very long story short, she lives in a different culture than I do. So, like, she would post like a statement And it's I don't even know how to explain it. Like, here's one thing she got mad at me about. She was upset because she had borrowed money from a friend and couldn't pay the friend back, and like he was really pressuring her, and she was kind of. She actually said she was scared because she didn't know what he was going to do to her if he didn't get the money that she borrowed, and I was like, why do you consider this person again or a friend? That's not good. And she actually started yelling at me because I was arguing. And it's like, okay, it's just ultimately what it comes down to is it's just different cultures. She posts something that I think she wants my feedback on or my opinion on, and then she gets mad at me when I share it because I guess she didn't want anybody's opinion. She was just saying it because, you know. And so like at one point what ended up breaking us apart was is she or what set this one off was she I don't even remember what it was, but it was something to do with something, and I was I made a comment and she just starts yelling, and like I know it's via text so it's hard to say, but when someone posts in all caps nonstop and is aggressive about it, you're shouting. But like this, so she starts shouting at me and like chewing me out because she didn't want to hear any arguing, and it's like this is 2 days after I find out I could be homeless in less than in 2 months. So it's like I don't need this from you, and so we usually chatted on Steam, so I blocked her on Steam, and I said, if you want to make this up, you can get a hold of me where we on the website where we actually first met, which was a role playing website which she has my information there, so she could contact me at any time via it's a note system that they use. So she makes a new account like 4 days later, a new Steam account, and then sends me a message and says, "Hear me out." And then all she says is, "You can never take a little bump, could you?" And then just immediately logs offline, and that was it. So it's like I assume, and that was like 5 days ago. So I assume that she just completely broke off the relationship. So that's it. Um, so that's kind of like I'm always hesitant of long distance relationships. It's just I'm kind of going through a rough spot with the computer and stuff, and my work, which I don't have that job anymore. So it could get better or get worse. I don't know. But long story short, so that was kind of like just an emotional blow, I guess. And then on top of that, like, my work has had problems recently. Long story short, there is, and I'm not saying this like exaggerating, I'm not lying. This is honestly how these people are. One of the guys that's been working here the longest works for $13 an hour. He can do plumbing, electricity, or electric work, construction. He can do anything he wants, but he only makes 13 an hour. And the reason is because if the owner paid him what he was worth, the owner would fire him. Because the owner won't fire him because he lets the guy get away with almost everything. Like, for example, this guy, I mow lots at a semi nice trailer park. It's not nearly high class, but like it's maintained. It looks okay. There's a pond. There's a couple of ponds. And like one example was last year. It had we had a series of rains, so I hadn't mowed in a week. I couldn't mow in a week because the ground was so wet. Where I live, it's a lot of clay, which absorbs water and holds it. So when we get a string of heavy rains, we literally just have to sit on our hands for 4 or 5 days until the ground dries out. There's nothing we can do. Um, but like so I hadn't mowed in a while, and so I'm out there mowing one of the lots. I wasn't, and the way that I do it is I go around, I mow the lot, and then I weed whack it. Because if you try to weed whack a lot and then mow it, what usually ends up happening is the I'm trying to think. It's easier to set the position of the weed whacker like it's easier to weed whack down to the level of the mower than it is to mow to the level of the weed whacker. It's easier to do. It makes more sense. So I was going around mowing. I hadn't even finished weed whacking yet, and the guy comes over and starts saying, "Hey, this is how you've screwed up. You need to do this differently. You need to hit this spot and this spot and this spot." And I finally just like lost and like this is in front of two residents of the park too. And so like this guy is just chewing me out, dressing me down for because I wasn't even done with the lot, and he was saying, "Well, why haven't you mowed this lot? Why haven't you done this? This looks like it's so long. Why haven't you done this?" And it's like, because we just got a lot of rain, because the owners put fertilizer on the park, and it literally grows like this much in 4 days when it's not mowed with the fertilizer, and we had heavy rain, so it was like 6 or 7 days before I could mow it. So the guy is just dressing me down in front of two residents of the park. And so I finally explode and I go, "Oh yeah, Paul? Then if I'm doing such a bad job, why haven't you done that?" And I turn around and point or I said, "You know what, fine. You know what? Fine. You do it. Turn around, walk off the job." And I'm an independent contractor here, so I can do whatever I want. So, well, that's not entirely true, but I'm treated as one, so I consider myself one. But I walked off the job and I said, "Fine, you can do it." Well, he continues to mow for like another hour, takes the mower back to like the garage area for maintenance, and then he's done for the day. He just worked a half day. So I call the manager of the park, and I took her down there, and I said, "This is exactly what happened, word for word." And I showed her that lot. What the guy had done was he had finished mowing. He had not touched any of the weed whacking on that entire lot, just left it as it was. Went over, did like part of another lot, cut almost a full foot into like the actual owner's, like someone else's yard, when he was mowing there. Didn't weed whack that either, and then he quit. And it's like, so you just left that sitting where everybody can see it on the street, and the guy criticizes me about like the work that I do, and I told the manager about it, and the manager did nothing because they can't afford to get rid of this guy because he works for peanuts. And it's like, that's exactly what's going on. The manager has said multiple times they are not going to fire Paul because for what he does, they can't pay someone. Like, he saves them so much money on jobs, it's ridiculous. So they're never going to fire him. So he can get away with anything he wants. He also never listens to the manager. The manager can tell him, "Hey, you need to go do this." He may do it, he may not. He does whatever he wants to do. He's not answerable to anybody except the owner, and even then, he may do it, he may not. You don't know. So, that's just one of the people that work here. Here's another person, just as an example. And the problem is the manager is stupid. And I'm not saying that to be criticizing. I am not saying that like vindictively and, "Oh, I hate this person. She's so dumb. She's so stupid." She is literally one of the stupidest people I have ever met. Here's an example as to why I say that. This manager called me up to the office one time to chew me out about something. And she said that, I should explain too, I wear pajama pants to work because I only have two pairs of pants right now, and one of them are long black jeans. They're pretty thick. I'm not going to be out in 90-degree weather for 7-8 hours a day in black denim. That's not happening. So I wear pajama pants and I roll the pants up. And I've been told multiple times by the manager, that's okay. I can wear whatever the hell I want as long as I get the job done. She didn't say hell, but she said literally, like, we're almost word for word, you can wear whatever you want as long as you get the job done. Well, she called me up and said, "You can't wear those anymore because it's not fair that I have to have a dress code and you guys don't. So you guys have to start wearing nice clothes from now on." And that sounds reasonable, that sounds fair, until you realize she is the manager of the park. That means she's in an office all day, and when a home needs to be showed, she's the one that shows it. So she interacts with customers all the time and homeowners here all the time. She has to wear good, or she has to look good, as opposed to the people that are doing painting, construction, power washing, digging in the dirt, like digging in the ground, which I have done before, operating a bulldozer or a bobcat. You want those people to wear nice clothes to work when you, in a safe, clean office, are required to wear nice clothes? It's like, that's what I mean. It's like she is legitimately stupid. But then there's also like a misdirection that's like going on between every member of the park here. It's like residents of the park, when they cut down like branches or stuff, they put them by the side of the road. They're not supposed to because the trash company won't get them, but they do. And so what we do as part of the maintenance for the park is we go around and we get them. Well, I couldn't mow because we had just gotten rain and I wanted to give the ground time to dry out. So I went around and I dragged the bushes or the branches to a ravine because there's multiple ravines, and so I threw them into the ravine. Well, I guess the troublemaker, the guy that complains about everybody, went behind my back and talked to the manager's husband, who also works here, and said, "Why is he throwing them in that ravine? We're not supposed to do that. Did he ask you if he could do that?" And it's like, well, the owner of the park told us to throw them into a ravine when we could, and when we couldn't, then take them to another spot. So I don't see why that's a problem. And if there was a problem, why didn't he ask me instead of going behind my back and spreading misinformation? It's stuff like that happens all the time. But then, the manager's husband, he thinks he runs the park, bluntly. Like, he expects everybody to jump when he says jump, and if you don't, he's going to chew you out good. He works here, and he is not a manager. He is not in a position of authority. And that was the thing. That's like kind of sparked the whole thing with me just walking off my job. Is basically to live here right now, I have to pay about 800 a month. Is what it is. And last year I was making about 1,200 a month. I don't mind sharing my financial situation. So I was making about 1,200 a month. I was making about 500 to 600 a check. It was pretty good. This year, I'm barely making 400. I think one check I broke 500 just because the people shorted me $175 on my check, and so they added it to the next check. So I'm making half what I was. I'm barely making bills and rent, and then I get a call from the manager's husband at 9 at night, and he basically says, well, he grills me pretty good. He said something along the lines of, "Hey, why haven't you been weed whacking the gravel driveway?" And down there by the shop, there's a gravel driveway that we use, and that's like where we do everything and stuff. And apparently, I was supposed to be taking the weed whacker and weed whacking the gravel to make it sure it stayed looking good. And so he was dragging me over the coals because I wasn't doing that. And I let him have it right back. And it was like, well, I didn't know I was supposed to be doing that. Had you told me that, I would have taken care of it. Don't get pissy with me because, and I didn't say that, but that was my intent behind the words. It's like, don't get pissy with me and don't chew me out for something you didn't tell me that I was supposed to be doing. He's like, well, okay, fine then. And I was down here by these, and for those of you who aren't familiar with trailer park homes, there are power meters beside them. For those of you who have regular homes, there are power meters. But in a park, a lot of times trees will grow around them because a mower can't get at them, so you have to pull them out by hand. And the last month and a half, I've had like a lot of rain, something's come up, where I haven't been able to be on the mower steadily, but I've been chipping away at it. So out of this park that probably has close to 150 homes, because let's see, yeah, it's between 100 and 150 homes. There are two that had saplings around them that I hadn't gotten to. And the manager's husband comes up to me that morning and had said, "Hey, I made a mess up here in front of the office yesterday, and I didn't clean it up, so you have to go down to you have to." He made it an order. You have to. And I'm an independent contractor, and he's a regular employee. He is not a manager. Ordered me to go down to the shop, get a backpack blower, clean up his mess, and then said, "Hey, oh, and there's also saplings around one of these power boxes. You have to go do that before you can do anything else today." I got pretty pissed. I was not happy about that, but I said, well, I will go get the backpack blower, but I will get to the saplings when I start mowing that street. Well, when he called me, one of the things was, well, I looked down there when you were done. You didn't get to them. Why didn't you do that? Well, that day I had only worked a half day. I had only worked about an hour and a half, 2 hours, because I needed to go help my parents. It's a long story. I'm not going to go into it. I hadn't gotten to that street, so I didn't do it. And so I responded back, hey, I told you I would get to it when I got to that street. You said okay. Well, and so he went on. And the next thing is it's, well, because you're missing stuff, you're going to be taken off the mower. This other guy is going to be doing the mower. This is the same guy that missed stuff all the time, and I showed the manager, by the way. And he's going to be doing the mowing. And you can follow him behind him on the weed whacker or whatever. And, like, so I'm barely making rent and bills as is. And you're taking away the one job that's actually mine and giving it to somebody else. Even better, I found out afterwards he didn't talk to the owner of the park about this. He went behind the owner's back. He didn't even ask the guy if he wanted to be on the mower. He just made that decision on his own and decided that that was going to happen. So, like, I just said, lost it at that point, and I just hung up on the guy, and I texted the manager and said, I quit. You can find somebody else. Because, like, it's ridiculous. I can't work here and make money. It's insane. Like, let me break down the, because it does kind of make me sound like a whiny bitch, and that's not the case. The actual finances are sound, and it's like, there's just so much stuff going on with this work that it's terrible. Why is the inside of my nose itchy? Oh, $500? Yeah, no thanks. Responding to that. Responding to that. Okay. So I talked to the because I wanted to explain to the owner of the park that what was going on, and I wanted to say I can't afford to live here anymore. Or I can't work here and make rent if they take this away from me. And so what I did is I wrote out. I wanted to email the owner of the park and say here's the list of finances. Maybe you can think of something else because everybody was supposed to meet the next week. So I sent the manager an email and I said, hey, I need you to forward this to Dave so that he can think about it before next week. And so lot rent plus bills comes out to about $640. Lot rent is $453, I think. And then it's another $100 for, like, I think it's electric and gas, and then there's another like 50 or 60 for internet. So it's like it comes out to about $640. Add in $60 for the car for a month for gas because I don't drive. That's $700. Add car insurance, which is about $70. I think it was $64 last I checked, but it's going to be higher because I have to go through my parents. So it's probably about 70. That's $770. For a month of food, I usually spend about 100. I can spend less, I can spend more, it depends, but 100 is usually, I eat pretty good for 100 a month. So to live here by myself, because my roommate is moving out, he's already looking at a home, he's like getting up, he's got a loan for it, he's moving out, and he's buying a house, so like I'm kind of screwed. I don't know when he's moving out, but he's got the loan already, so I imagine it's going to be soon. If not this month, then next month, I imagine. So, like, I wrote out all these finances, and so, like, my point of this email is when I don't make $450 a check, which is $900 a month, and bills cost $870, and that's without planning. I also get laid off from November to March, so that's 6 months of rent and bills and food that I have to save while I'm working. So that's why I said, like, and I explained to the owner, this is why I was forced to quit, because when I'm taken off the mower, I can't make enough work, or I can't make enough to work. And like I said, I need to make at least $1,000 at very least. And if I couldn't make $1,000 when I had mowing, when I was in charge of mowing, how am I going to make this without having mowing? And I called the owner later because the manager actually, like, is trying to conceal, like, information from the owner, and I have proof of that. But, like, and I emailed that to the manager, and I actually sent the manager a text message that said something along the lines of, "So here you go. This is the email. You can see why I said Dave needed. Dave is the owner of the park. Why he needed to hear that." Trying to find the email that I sent so that I can say it word for word. Okay, I deleted the context there, but basically, she said, or I said, "So do you see now why I need to send that email to Dave so he has time to think about like possible options because I don't know what I'm going to do, and I wanted the owner of the park to have time to think, well, is he going to have to buy the trailer from me? Like, do I need to sell it? I just wanted to hear his options." And the owner of the park, or the manager, not only did she say flat out, well, I asked her to send it, or I asked her for the owner's email, and she said, he said he'll talk to you next week. And I said, that's not what I asked you. I said I need his email. She said, well, that's what he told me. And so I wrote that email out and I sent it to the manager and I said, can you see now why I need to send this to the owner? I need to hear options. And instead of sending it forwards, this is what she sent back. Number one, no one forced you to quit. And this is a direct response to my email. Two, the guys are doing some of the outdoor work because you weren't doing a very good job for whatever reason. It seems you are limited to mowing and weed whacking. Now, I'm an independent contractor. Let's take that apart right there. I'm an independent contractor. I was hired to mow empty lots to free up everybody else to do what needed to be done. Somebody has gone around and lied to everybody here and told them I can't use a chainsaw. I know how to use a chainsaw. I've used one before. I've cut trees apart before. So apparently I can't use a chainsaw. Um, I could go on for about 5 or 10 minutes about this. Basically, saying that everybody was doing the outside work because I'm not doing a good job. I can't, like, for 150 homes, you can't expect one person to do everything outside. That's just stupid. And not only is it stupid, like, it's so stupid, it's like, this person shouldn't even be a manager levels of stupid. Like, you can't assume that. So that right there is like, that pissed me off a lot. But then it's like, it seems you're limited to mowing and weed whacking. I'm not limited to it. That's what I do to make sure that the other three guys that work here can get to what needs to be done. Like, mowing's not hard, but it has to be done. So you put the guy that doesn't really have a lot of other skill sets on it to free it up for the guys that do. But then no one forced you to quit. It's like, well, in 2 months' time, I can't pay rent, and I will never be able to. I'll just keep backsliding at that point. So you forced me to quit when you took my job away. That's what that is. But then she goes on to say the park looked bad when Dave came in for a visit. We were all scrambling to get things up to snuff. That's not true at all. We weren't scrambling at all. It's the office looked horrible because nobody maintains it. And like so when they came in for a surprise visit and saw it look like shit, like the manager has a place where she puts all her cigarette stubs in the ground and normally she hides it from the owner. Well, she didn't have a chance to hide it. And so the owner of the park chewed them out pretty good. But she said Dave specifically asked that everything, lockboxes and so on, be trimmed. I missed two lockboxes, or electric boxes, out of 150. And then trimmed, I missed like a 20-foot section on the back of one of the homes at the end of the street that you couldn't see from the road. Like, you would have to go behind the trailer to see it. Um, Evan asked you to do a couple and wanted to know why you didn't. That's all. That's not the case. Evan was yelling at me and screaming at me because I didn't do it, and I told him I wasn't going to do it that morning, and then he got mad at me because I didn't do it. And then Paul said, Paul was, yeah, oh yeah. I talked to you about all of this last winter, and you agreed you would step it up a notch. Basically, the email she's referring to when she said that is she said that, well, as long as you do other stuff too, you can keep working here. Because, long story short, it was just me and Paul, the one other guy, and Paul couldn't handle it. And so, like, I needed to do more. Well, they hired two other people since then, so I don't know why I need to step it up all of a sudden. And then coming to work in pajama pants is unacceptable no matter where you work. Just saying. And it's like, that is absolutely true. Except when I'm told, literally, I think I was told 30 times throughout the course of the last year and a half that it was okay for me to wear those pants. And so now, all of a sudden, it's an issue? That doesn't make sense. And like, so I responded back, and I chewed her out because it's like I said, it's like the last month and a half I've been on and off the mower because of heat, storms, and something coming up. It's when I can't mow the park is going to look bad. That's a given. Stupid? I mean, um, yeah. And then I basically said, if someone decides to scream at me over a phone, I'm gonna hang up. If you do it in person, I'm gonna walk away from you. And oh yeah, and then I made a point. It's like when she asked me to do that stuff, I said I would work harder. I never said I was going to be like cleaning out trailers, which is technically her job, not mine. But missing two things around the park out of everything that I'm supposed to mow, that's pretty good. I mean, that's like an error rate of like 98%. That's good, and 2% that's bad. That's pretty good. So like, and I chewed her out pretty good. And like, and a large part of that irritation is because she refused to call the the manager. She refused to send that email on to the owner, and she wouldn't say why. And so finally I said, if you don't give me his email, I'm just going, do you want to give me his email? Or what I said was, see, I'm getting worked up and I'm forgetting. What I said was, so that's not what I asked you. I need to have his email, or do I need to just call him directly? And she said, well, that's what he said. And so I sent that email, that first one about the finances, and I said, do you see now why I need him to read that? And she said something along the lines, or she didn't respond, and then I read this, and then I got a text from her that said, hey, you really shouldn't bother Dave. He's really busy right now. When every time I've talked to Dave, he's thanked me for calling him and letting him know what's going on in the park because he doesn't live in this area. He lives down south, and he just owns this park, so he doesn't know what's going on half the time. So I think what's happening is the owner or the manager is actually lying and controlling what messages are being sent out to Dave to make sure she doesn't look bad. Is what I think is happening. So, long story short, I quit. The owner wants everybody to sit down and talk at a table, which I think is hilarious because this is not going to go well. I quit. So, I am not working here again because I can't take it anymore. And besides that, I don't make enough money. I can't afford to live here anymore. If they want to give me back, if they want to put me back on the mower, I'll still mow, but I'm still going to look for another job because I need to have that extra job. So, I don't know what's going on, but like, so I quit my job, which I would have been homeless in about 2 months. I would be homeless as soon as my roommate moved out, regardless of if I had a job or I didn't. So, or whether I had my old job or if I'm jobless, like I am right now. So I just quit, thinking, hey, it's better to be able to look for a job full time that will be able to let me live here. So I don't know what's going on. I think it's a bit of a pain, and it's just like, so that's going on, and like, there's just been stuff cropping up non-stop with with these people, just back and forth and back and forth, just like just trying to fight. It's horrible. It's not a good work environment, and then there's like just stuff constantly going on, and there's backbiting, there's lying, like the chainsaw thing. It's like somebody told the manager that I don't know how to use a chainsaw. So in the 2 years I've been here, when there's chain jobs, guess who's the only guy that gets to do it is the only other guy that works here because he lied to the manager. And when I told the manager that's a flat out lie, I know how to run a chainsaw, she ignored me, blew it off, and I still never used a chainsaw. It's like, why would you believe the person I proved to you is lying over this? Why would you do that? It doesn't make sense. And so, like, I think it's going to be hilarious when the owner wants us all to sit down because I don't have to try to keep my job. I've got nothing to lose and I've got nothing to hide. So when we all sit down and if people decide they want to start criticizing me, oh, they're going to get it. But like I said, I quit. So right now I'm jobless. I have my last check coming in, so that should be in. So if that comes in, that'll cover bills for July, but it won't cover rent for August, which is due August 4th. I haven't talked to my roommate yet, so I don't know what we're gonna do. He makes enough to be able to foot it, but I don't know. I don't know because he's got a loan and shit. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's just kind of like just this backward spiral of just things all exploded at once. Um, and then like my friends can't help the like three that I have in real life. And then I can't. My parents won't help because they've always been of the matter. It's like you need to do things for yourself. They've given my sister thousands of dollars of help in like money wise, and yet they refuse to help me at all. Like with anything money wise, and it's just like, no, we're gonna give your sister all the money help that she needs, but we're just gonna say, hey, um, we believe in you, and that's it. And it's like, really? And like I will say, it's like it's not all that bad because like for my birthday next month, they're gonna pay for insurance on my car for a year. And it's like, yeah, that kind of helps, but that's not going to help me when I'm homeless tomorrow or next month. You know, it's like I would rather you calculate out what the insurance is for a year, for 12 months, just give me the money, and then, like, I can pay rent and bills with it for an extra month. That'll give me another month to try to find a job. And so it's like, I don't, there's a lot of shit just going on right now that I'm really struggling with. And so that's the work environment I've been in. And like, so to go on and explain further, I live in the middle of nowhere. I live in literally the town that I grew up has less than 1,000 people living in the actual town. Less than 1,000, mind you. So it's small, but there's a lot of like, it's almost like a resort town. People come to visit it. So, but a lot of it is retail. And so like when I'm looking for, or a lot of it is not retail, but it's fast food or restaurant work. And like I have a couple of mental disabilities. I do. Um, One of them is, and I don't know why, I don't really stress like normal. Like I have to sleep to let it go, and even then, like if I'm having a stressful day, like the stress of like the most stressful point of the day stays with me throughout the entire day. And if it's really bad, it carries over to the next day. Like it just doesn't go away. And so like when I work a high stress thing, like a job, what ends up happening is I think the longest I've ever worked at a restaurant is 2 months before I just exploded and quit and walked out on the spot. Like it was literally that bad. It was just I can't work in restaurants because I don't know how to I can't work in a high stress environment. It just so I found out that I like working in a retail thing. Well, that's cool, but kind of frustrating too because like I don't have a job either. And so it's like living in a small town where it's almost all or the other thing, restaurant, food related, or high stress stuff. It's like, well, I'd love to work retail again, but the one store that I worked at doesn't hire back like old employees, and it's like they have a really high turnover rate now too. Like they can't keep employees because it's so bad there. And so it's like I'm debating whether to even try contacting them cuz like I don't know how well it's going to work. It could work out, it could not, but I do remember it was like bad working there. But I quit for a good reason, and like they flat out won't hire me back. So whatever, I'm just gonna let it go. I don't care. Maybe I will message them. Maybe I will leave a number. See, because they go through employees like I mean back to back. They can't keep cashiers. So maybe things have changed. Maybe they haven't. I don't know. I don't know. But I have to have a job. So if it means working there again until I can find something else, I'll do that. If it pays the bills through winter, I'll do that. You know. But that's like the emotional like, and sort of like the stress and the situation that I'm going through right now. So I'm just really struggling with what am I supposed to do? And I have a time limit. It's like to date the video, because I usually post videos the same day that I record them. It is the 19th of July. So, like, I'm expecting my roommate to move out before the end of August. Like, he hasn't said anything, but I assume that that's the case. And even so, I can't afford to pay rent when I don't have a job, so I'm struggling, like, balancing that out. And it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. It's just there's a lot of issues. So like until this situation gets resolved, I'm probably not gonna be on like I'm probably not gonna be able to record videos. Not just because of the computer issue, but just because like I can't do it. Like I just can't do it. So I don't know. We'll see. It's such bullshit. It literally is just a stream of just bullshit that just happened all at once, and now I'm kind of screwed. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going to happen, but I wanted to let you guys know that. Long story short, fast forward to the end. Long story short, I won't be posting videos for a while because I might be homeless. All right. If you did watch to the end of this, I am impressed. Good job. Thanks for listening. Thanks for caring enough to actually watch the video. Um, so, yeah, if you have any requests for videos or for games I can record, leave them in the comments below. I'll see if I can do them, because I want to record stuff. I want to keep doing this, but I can't do it if it's horrible quality either. So, just post a link or let me know in the comments below if there's any particular thing you want me to play, and I'll see if I can get to it. So, like I said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video, whatever it happens to be.